The GTP envisages ensuring a reliable supply of energy to different economic and social sectors in the country and exporting clean power to other countries in the COMESA region. I urge all member states to allocate substantial budgetary resources to infrastructure development and renewal so that the whole COMESA region can be interlinked and equitably developed. Mr. Chairman, Honorable Ministers, now I move on to the fundamental question. What is the rationale behind COMESA member states opting for integration? The treaty establishing COMESA spells out the aims and objectives of the common market as they are enunciated in Article 3, Chapter 3 of the treaty. The aims and objectives of the common market provide us with the rationale for integration and should always guide us so that we don't lose sight of what we want to achieve. Key among our set objectives is the goal to improve the standards of living of all the peoples of our region, especially those who are at the bottom part of the pyramid. We should keep this in mind as we deliberate during these meetings. Greater regional integration, if carried out correctly, can complement the process of global integration, both by taking advantage of the opportunities presented by globalization and by guarding against the vulnerabilities. This is especially important for small open economies such as ours. Regional integration also strengthens the ability of countries to deal with negative shocks, both external and country-specific. This ability is particularly relevant in our region, where the impact of shocks can be devastating for any single economy. Finally, combining forces through regional cooperation is the most effective way to proceed in international trade negotiations because it increases the power of small states. Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, the Council of Ministers is a key policy organ and it is instrumental in realizing the COMESA regional integration agenda and fostering deeper integration in our region. It is this Council that makes key decisions and further recommends to our Supreme Body, the authority of the head of states and government of the COMESA member states. I strongly believe that the Council will assess the progress made so far in light of past policy decisions, as well as chart the way for deepening regional integration in light of the increased competition emanating from globalization. It's imperative that the meeting, which has all the key aspects of trade, infrastructure, and investment, should cover the critical areas of the development of industry, services, and access to finance. This should assist in formulating and developing a set of comprehensive policies and action plans that will spur economic growth and development in a sustainable way. Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I wish to emphasize that we have come a long way and we have reached the point of no return. I am confident that, given your experience and knowledge, you will be able to recommend concrete measures to ensure that we all comply with the decisions we have jointly undertaken to implement our regional integration programs and projects which we have all identified and prioritized.
COMESA is more than a common market in terms of the institutions that support regional integration and also the policies. And therefore, it is important, I think, your guest of honor for me at this point in time, to give some highlights of where we have come from and where we are. By simply saying, COMESA was the first regional organization to launch the free trade area on 31st October 2000. At that time, the intra-COMESA trade stood at $3.1 billion. Now it stands at $22.9 billion. There's been a sevenfold increase in trade. But what is important is that trade is still about 10% of our total trade. And yet, the studies that we have undertaken as a secretariat for the products that are traded within COMESA reveal that there is a trade potential of $98 billion that we can trade on. And therefore, the point I'm making, honorable ministers, is that we need to have a paradigm shift in regional integration and simply ask ourselves the hard questions. How is it that our trade is $22.3 billion, and yet the potential in what we can say are already established industries and productive capacities is 98 billion? These are things that should be addressed and addressed urgently within the context of the COMESA industrial policy that I'll touch on later on. Now, again, when you look at our potential for agriculture, agro-processing is huge. And yet, notwithstanding the landmass, the water that we have, the arable land that we have, as a region, we are still importing $22 billion of grains, annually. Now, that also has got to be addressed through economic and structural transformation, which will move our agriculture from low productivity to high productivity, among other things, through modern technologies, which includes mechanization, which includes the hybrid seeds, and so forth and so on.